Captain Alina Reeves stood on the bridge of the UES Defender, her eyes fixed on the vast expanse of space before her. The ship, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel, hummed with energy as it pushed the boundaries of human reach into the cosmos. Alina's mission was simple: seek out new frontiers and expand humanity's understanding of the universe. Little did she know that today, everything would change. "Captain, we're picking up an anomaly on long-range sensors," Lieutenant Sarah Chen called out from her station, her voice tinged with excitement and a hint of apprehension. Alina moved swiftly to the sensor display, her heart racing. "What kind of anomaly, Lieutenant?" It's massive, Captain. And it's not natural. The energy readings are off the charts." As if on cue, the ship's alarms blared to life. The space before them seemed to ripple and tear, and through this cosmic wound emerged a sight that would be etched into Alina's memory forever. A colossal ship, easily 100 times the size of the Defender, materialized before them. Its hull was a deep metallic purple, adorned with intricate patterns that pulsed with an eerie light. "Battle stations," Alina ordered, her training kicking in despite the shock. "Shields up, weapons on standby. And somebody get me a damn comm link." The bridge erupted into controlled chaos as the crew rushed to their positions. Alina's mind raced through possibilities. First contact. After centuries of searching, wondering if we were alone in the universe, here was the answer. And it had found them. Before Alina could issue another order, the view screen flickered to life. The image that appeared sent a chill down her spine. The alien before her was tall and slender, with iridescent scales covering its body and multiple eyes that seemed to look in all directions at once. When it spoke, its voice resonated with a metallic timbre that made Alina's teeth ache. "Humans of Earth," the alien intoned, its words somehow perfectly translated. "I am Supreme Commander Zarkal of the Zarkan Empire. Your existence has been noted, and your planet has been deemed suitable for integration into our dominion." Alina stepped forward, her voice steady despite the turmoil in her gut. "This is Captain Alina Reeves of the United Earth Ship Defender. We come in peace and seek diplomatic." "Silence," Zarkal interrupted, its multiple eyes narrowing. "Your diplomacy is irrelevant. The Zarkan Empire does not negotiate. We conquer. You have 2 of your Earth rotations to surrender your world and submit to Zarkan rule. Failure to comply will result in the complete annihilation of your species." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Alina's mind reeled from the implications. 2 days. They had 2 days to decide the fate of humanity. "Lieutenant Chen, send a Priority 1 message to Earth Command. Inform them of the situation and attach all sensor data we've gathered," Alina ordered, her voice tight with tension. "And get me a secure line to the President. We need to warn Earth now." As the crew scrambled to carry out her orders, Alina couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The Zarkan ship loomed ominously in the view screen, a constant reminder of the threat they faced. Hours later, Alina found herself in a virtual conference with Earth's highest-ranking officials. The atmosphere was tense, filled with fear and uncertainty. "This has to be some kind of mistake," General Thompson argued, his holographic image pacing back and forth. "We can't possibly stand against a force capable of that kind of technology." "Mistake or not, General, the threat is real," President Amelia Chen countered, her usually calm demeanor strained. "Captain Reeves, what's your assessment of our chances if we were to engage in combat?" Alina took a deep breath, knowing her words could shape the course of human history. "Madam President, based on what we've seen of their technology, a direct confrontation would be challenging. But we've also observed some peculiarities in their energy signatures that suggest potential vulnerabilities. With time and resources, we might be able to develop countermeasures." The debate raged on, with voices calling for immediate surrender clashing with those advocating for resistance at all costs. As the arguments heated up, Alina felt a fire igniting within her. She thought of all the struggles humanity had overcome, all the adversities they had faced and conquered. They had survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and their own self-destructive tendencies. They had reached for the stars and touched them. And now, faced with an alien threat, they were considering giving up without a fight. Enough. Alina's voice cut through the chaos, silencing the room. All eyes turned to her hologram. With all due respect, surrendering is not an option. We are humans. We have faced extinction-level events before and survived. We've overcome impossible odds time and time again. If these Zarkin want our world, they'll have to pry it from our cold, dead hands. A moment of silence followed her outburst. Then President Chen spoke, her voice filled with newfound resolve. Captain Reeves is right. We will not bow to threats or intimidation. If the Zarkin Empire wants war, then war is what they'll get. The decision was made. Earth would fight. As the meeting adjourned and plans were set in motion, Alina looked out at the stars from the Defender's observation deck. The Zarkin ship was still there, waiting. She thought about the enormous task ahead, the sacrifices that would be required, the lives that would be lost. But she also thought about the spirit of humanity, the indomitable will that had carried them through their darkest hours. You want war? Alina whispered to the distant alien vessel. We'll give you war, and we'll show you what humanity is truly capable of. As the Defender began its journey back to Earth, carrying with it the weight of humanity's defiance, Alina Reeves knew that the real battle was just beginning. The clock was ticking, and humanity had 2 days to prepare for a war that would determine the fate of their species. But they would face it together, united in their determination to survive, to fight, and to prove that humanity would not go quietly into the night. The Defiance Protocol had begun. Preparation for war. The next 48 hours saw Earth transform in ways no one could have imagined. The revelation of the Zarkin threat galvanized humanity like nothing before in history. Old rivalries and conflicts were set aside as nations united under a single banner: survival. Captain Alina Reeves found herself at the heart of Earth's frenzied preparations. The moment the Defender docked at the orbital station, she was whisked away to a top-secret facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Here, the best minds on the planet were working tirelessly to give humanity a fighting chance. Captain Reeves, welcome to Project Prometheus. Dr. Aisha Patel greeted her, dark circles under her eyes betraying countless sleepless hours. We've been analyzing the data you sent back. It's revolutionary. Alina followed Dr. Patel through a maze of laboratories and workshops. Everywhere she looked, scientists and engineers were bent over workstations, arguing over schematics or testing prototypes. The air crackled with a mixture of desperation and innovation. What have you found? Alina asked, her eyes widening as they passed a hangar where a new type of fighter was being assembled, its design unlike anything she'd seen before. Dr. Patel's eyes lit up with excitement. The Zarkin's technology, while advanced, has a critical weakness. Their energy signatures suggest a reliance on a specific type of quantum resonance. We're developing weapons that can disrupt this resonance, potentially crippling their systems. They stopped in front of a massive holographic display showing Earth and its orbital defenses. New satellites were being positioned, their designs incorporating the latest breakthroughs. This is the Aegis Network, a gruff voice explained. Alina turned to see General Thompson approaching, looking more determined than ever. A planetary shield system. It won't stop their biggest weapons, but it'll buy us time. As Alina absorbed the magnitude of what was being accomplished, an alert sounded throughout the facility. President Chen's face appeared on screens throughout the complex. My fellow citizens of Earth, she began, her voice steady and resolute. The time has come to unveil the full extent of our response to the Zarkin threat. As we speak, a global draft is being implemented. Every able-bodied individual will have a role to play in our defense. But more than soldiers, we need innovators, problem solvers, and dreamers. The Defiance Protocol is now in effect. Elena listened intently as the president outlined the sweeping changes being enacted across the globe. Industries were being retooled for war production, universities were becoming round-the-clock research centers, and a new branch of the military, the Cosmic Defense Force, was being formed. Captain Reeves, General Thompson said as the broadcast ended, "You're being promoted to Admiral. You'll be leading our first line of defense when the Tsar can return." Elena's mind reeled at the promotion, but she knew this was no time for celebration. "Thank you, sir. What's our strategy?" The next few hours were a blur of tactical meetings and strategy sessions. Elena found herself at the center of humanity's battle plans, her experience with the Zarkin making her insights invaluable. As the deadline approached, Elena took a moment to herself, standing before a window that offered a view of the bustling facility. Everywhere she looked, she saw determination, courage, and an unwavering spirit. Humanity was scared, yes, but they were also angry. Angry at being threatened, angry at being underestimated. A commotion near one of the laboratories caught her attention. She made her way over to find a group of scientists cheering around a test chamber. "Admiral Reeves," Dr. Patel called out, waving her over excitedly. "We've done it. The quantum disruptor is operational." Elena watched in awe as the scientists demonstrated their creation. A miniature version of what they believed to be Zarkin shielding technology flickered and failed when hit with the disruptor beam. "This is incredible," Elena breathed, hope swelling in her chest. "How soon can we implement this on a larger scale?" "We're already retrofitting our ships and defense platforms," General Thompson said, appearing beside her. "It's not a guarantee, but it gives us a fighting chance." As the facility continued to buzz with activity, Elena's communicator chimed. It was a message from the orbital defense station. The Zarkin ship had reappeared at the edge of the solar system. Time was up. Elena straightened her uniform and took a deep breath. This was the moment that would define not just her career, but the fate of her entire species. She thought of her family, her friends, of every human being counting on her and her fellow defenders to protect them. "General," she said, her voice filled with steel, "it's time. Let's show these Zarkin what happens when you back humanity into a corner." As alarms blared throughout the facility, signaling the imminent confrontation, Elena made her way to the hangar where her new flagship awaited. The UES Defiant, a marvel of human engineering and alien-inspired technology, stood ready for battle. Crew members saluted as she boarded, their faces a mixture of fear and determination. Elena took her place on the bridge, surrounded by the best officers Earth had to offer. "All hands, this is Admiral Reeves," she announced shipwide. "The moment we've prepared for is here. The Zarkin thought they could come here and take our world without a fight. They thought we would bow down in the face of their superior technology. But they don't know us. They don't know what humans are capable of when everything is on the line." She paused, looking at each member of her bridge crew. "We are the last line of defense between Earth and annihilation. But we are not alone. Behind us stands every human on our planet, united in defiance against those who would threaten our existence. We carry with us the hopes, dreams, and fury of our entire species." The ship's engines roared to life as final launch preparations were made. On screens throughout the vessel, similar scenes played out as Earth's hastily assembled defense fleet made ready for the coming battle. "To all ships," Elena commanded, her voice echoing across the comm channels, "prepare for immediate departure. Our mission is clear. We will meet the Zarkin head-on and show them the true meaning of human defiance. Today, we fight not just for our lives, but for our right to exist in this universe." As the Defiant lifted off, leading Earth's fleet towards their rendezvous with destiny, Elena felt a strange calm settle over her. The odds were against them, the enemy vastly superior in numbers and technology. But she knew, deep in her heart, that humanity would not go down without a fight that would shake the very stars. The Zarkin had demanded Earth's surrender. Instead, they were about to face the full, unleashed fury of a species that had spent its entire existence overcoming the impossible. The war for Earth's survival was about to begin. The first engagement. The vastness of space seemed to hold its breath as Earth's defense fleet, led by the UES Defiant, took up position just beyond the moon's orbit. Admiral Elena Reeves stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. The Zarkin invasion force had just entered the solar system, a swarm of purple-hued ships that dwarfed humanity's hastily assembled armada. "All ships, report in," Elena commanded, her voice steady despite the tension that gripped her. One by one, the captains of Earth's fleet sounded off. Destroyers, cruisers, and fighters, all retrofitted with the latest quantum disruptor technology, confirmed their readiness. The Aegis network hummed to life, a shimmering shield enveloping the planet below. "Admiral," Lieutenant Chen called out, her voice tight with anticipation. "The Zarkin fleet has entered weapons range. They're charging weapons." Elena's mind raced through the battle simulations they had run countless times over the past 2 days. This was it, the moment of truth. "All ships, initiate defiance protocol," Elena ordered. "Fighters, engage at will. Cruisers, focus fire on their lead vessels. And someone get me a channel to their command ship." The space between the two fleets erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and missiles. Earth's fighters darted between the massive Zarkin ships, their agility allowing them to evade the alien vessels' targeting systems. The quantum disruptors flared to life, causing localized failures in the Zarkin shields. On the main view screen, the face of Supreme Commander Zarkal appeared, its multiple eyes narrowing in what Elena assumed was surprise. "You dare to resist?" The alien's metallic voice resonated. "Your primitive weapons cannot hope to." Zarkal's words were cut short as the Defiant unleashed a barrage of quantum-tipped missiles directly at the Zarkin command ship. The alien vessel's shields flickered and failed, allowing several missiles to impact its hull. "This is Admiral Elena Reeves of Earth," she responded, her voice filled with steel. "We not only dare to resist, we intend to win. You came here expecting an easy conquest. Instead, you've walked into a nightmare." The battle raged on, with casualties mounting on both sides. Earth's smaller fleet was taking heavy losses, but they were inflicting significant damage on the Zarkin. The quantum disruptors were proving more effective than even their creators had hoped, leaving the alien ships vulnerable to conventional weapons. "Admiral," Captain Rodriguez of the UES Valiant called out over the comm, "we've detected a weakness in their formation. There's a gap in their defenses near their port flank." Elena's tactical mind immediately saw the opportunity. "All available ships, form up on the Valiant. We're going to punch through their lines." The Defiant led the charge, its advanced shields absorbing punishment as they plowed through the Zarkin formation. Earth's ships unleashed everything they had, targeting the weak points they had identified in the alien vessels. As they broke through, Elena noticed something odd about the Zarkin ship's behavior. "They're not adapting," she muttered, then louder to her crew, "They're not changing their tactics." Chen analyzed their battle patterns. "There's something we're missing here." While Chen worked, the tide of battle began to shift. Earth's forces, though outnumbered, were fighting with a ferocity and adaptability that seemed to confound the Zarkin. Ships on both sides exploded in silent bursts of fire and debris, but slowly, steadily, humanity was gaining ground. "Admiral, I've completed the analysis," Chen reported, her eyes wide. "The Zarkin ships, they're not showing any signs of individual initiative. It's as if they're all being controlled from a single point." Elena's mind raced with the implications. The command ship, they're all being directed by the command ship. She turned to her weapons officer. "Target everything we've got on their flagship. If we can take it out, we might be able to cripple their entire fleet." The order went out, and Earth's remaining ships converged on the massive Zarkin command vessel. The alien ship's defenses were formidable, but under the concentrated assault, they began to buckle. "Their shields are down," Chen shouted. "We have a clear shot at their main reactor." Elena didn't hesitate. Fire everything we've got. The Defiant unleashed its full arsenal, joined by every other ship in range. The Zarkan command ship's hull breached in a dozen places, secondary explosions rippling along its length. For a moment, it seemed as though the massive vessel might withstand the assault, but then, with a silent flash that lit up the solar system, it detonated. The effect on the rest of the Zarkan fleet was immediate and shocking. Ships began to drift aimlessly, their weapons falling silent. Some collided with each other, while others simply shut down. They've all gone dormant, Chen reported, disbelief in her voice. It's like they've been completely deactivated. A cheer went up across the comm channels as the realization of what had happened sunk in. They had won. Against all odds, humanity had faced a technologically superior alien invasion force and emerged victorious. But Elena's jubilation was short-lived. As the adrenaline of battle faded, she took in the cost of their victory. The space around Earth was littered with the debris of both human and Zarkan ships. Thousands of lives had been lost, and the planet below had not escaped unscathed. Several Zarkan ships had managed to breach the Aegis network, leaving impact craters and destruction in their wake. "Send out rescue ships immediately," Elena ordered. "I want every survivor picked up, human and Zarkan alike, and get me a secure line to Earth Command. They need to know what's happened here." As the cleanup operation began, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. They had won the battle, but something told her the war was far from over. The ease with which the Zarkan fleet had been neutralized once their command ship was destroyed raised more questions than answers. Who were the Zarkan really? Why had they targeted Earth? And most importantly, would they return? As she prepared to make her report to Earth's leaders, Elena knew one thing for certain. Humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage. They had faced extinction and spat in its face. Whatever came next, Earth would be ready. The stars seemed to shine a little brighter as the remnants of Earth's fleet began their journey home. They carried with them not just the scars of battle, but the pride of a species that had looked into the abyss and emerged stronger. The Defiance Protocol had been a success, but Elena Reeves knew that the true test of humanity's resolve was yet to come. The turning point. The euphoria of victory was short-lived. Just 3 weeks after Earth's triumphant stand against the Zarkan invasion force, long-range sensors detected a new threat approaching, a Zarkan armada that dwarfed the previous fleet. Admiral Elena Reeves stood in the war room of the newly constructed Lunar Command Center, her face grim as she addressed the assembled leaders of Earth's United Defense Force. "Ladies and gentlemen, we're looking at a force nearly 10 times the size of the previous invasion," Elena stated, gesturing to the holographic display of the incoming fleet. "Our victory, while significant, has only served to anger the Zarkan. They're coming back, and this time, they're not underestimating us." General Thompson, his face haggard from weeks of non-stop work, spoke up. "What about the quantum disruptors? Can we replicate our previous success?" Dr. Aisha Patel shook her head. "Unlikely. We've analyzed the new Zarkan ships. They've adapted their shielding. The disruptors will still have an effect, but it won't be nearly as devastating." A heavy silence fell over the room. The gravity of the situation was palpable. Earth had thrown everything it had into the first battle, and while they'd been frantically rebuilding and innovating, there was no denying they were outgunned and outmanned. Elena's mind raced, considering and discarding strategies. Then a wild idea began to form. What if we don't try to match them ship for ship? She mused aloud. What if we change the battlefield entirely? All eyes turned to her. Elena pointed to a spot on the holographic map. "Here, Lagrange Point L1. We have that new research station there, studying solar dynamics. What if we could use the sun itself as a weapon?" The room erupted into a flurry of discussion. Scientists debated the feasibility. Military strategists considered the tactical implications. As the arguments flew back and forth, Elena's communicator chimed. It was a priority message from the research station at L1. Admiral Reeves, a breathless scientist, appeared on the screen. "We've made a breakthrough in our analysis of the captured Zarkan technology. You need to see this immediately." Hours later, Alina found herself aboard a shuttle racing towards the L1 station. As she docked and made her way to the main laboratory, her mind whirled with the possibilities. What could be so important that it required her personal attention in the middle of preparations for Earth's defense? Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the lead researcher at the station, greeted her with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. "Admiral, thank you for coming so quickly. What we've discovered, it changes everything." Elena followed Dr. Tanaka to a secure room where a piece of Zarkan technology was held in a containment field. It pulsed with an eerie purple light. "We thought this was just part of their propulsion system," Dr. Tanaka explained. "But it's so much more. It's a node in a vast, interconnected network. The Zarkan ships, their weapons, even their soldiers, they're all part of a hive mind." Elena's eyes widened as the implications sunk in. "That's why they all shut down when we destroyed the command ship. But how does this help us now?" Dr. Tanaka's eyes gleamed. "Because, Admiral, we've figured out how to tap into the network. With the right equipment, we could potentially control their entire fleet." The next few days were a whirlwind of activity. As the Zarkan armada drew ever closer, Earth threw all its resources into Dr. Tanaka's discovery. The L1 station was hastily retrofitted into a command center for the daring plan. Elena stood on the bridge of the station, now renamed the UES Trojan Horse, as the Zarkan fleet entered the solar system. Earth's remaining ships took up defensive positions, ready to buy time for the plan to work. "All systems are go, Admiral," Dr. Tanaka reported. "We're ready to initiate the hack." Elena took a deep breath. This was it. Everything hinged on this moment. Do it. For several agonizing minutes, nothing seemed to happen. The Zarkan fleet continued its advance, their weapons charging. Then suddenly, the lead ships began to veer off course. "It's working," Dr. Tanaka exclaimed. "We're in their system." Elena allowed herself a small smile. "All right, let's see what we can do with this. Bring their lead ships around. Let's have them target their own fleet." What followed was a scene of utter chaos. Zarkan ships began firing on each other, their formation breaking apart as confusion reigned. Earth's forces, seizing the opportunity, launched a coordinated attack on the disoriented enemy. But the victory was short-lived. A massive energy surge erupted from the heart of the Zarkan fleet. "They're trying to override our control," Dr. Tanaka shouted over the alarms now blaring throughout the station. Elena gripped the command console. "Push back. We can't lose control now." The battle raged both in space and in the digital realm. For every ship Earth managed to turn against its allies, the Zarkan Central Intelligence fought back, regaining control. It was a deadly dance of hacking and counter-hacking, with the fate of Earth hanging in the balance. As the conflict reached its peak, Elena noticed something strange in the data streaming across her screens. These patterns, they're not random. It's almost like... Her eyes widened in sudden realization. It's a language. Dr. Tanaka, the Zarkan aren't just fighting us. They're trying to communicate. Working feverishly, Elena and Dr. Tanaka began to decipher the alien code. What they discovered shook them to their core. The Zarkan weren't an empire. They were refugees, fleeing the catastrophe in their home galaxy. Their hive mind, once a pinnacle of advancement, had become corrupted over their long journey. The invasion of Earth wasn't a conquest. It was a desperate attempt to find a new home, driven by the broken logic of a damaged artificial intelligence. With this knowledge, Elena made a fateful decision. Instead of continuing the attack, she began to broadcast a message throughout the Zarkan network. A message of understanding, of peace, and of an offer to help. The effect was immediate. The Zarkan fleet went still, weapons powering down. On the main view screen, a familiar face appeared. Supreme Commander Zarkal, But this time, its eyes held not aggression, but a glimmer of hope. "You understand." The alien's voice resonated, softer than before. Elena nodded. "We do, and we want to help. This war, it doesn't have to continue. We can find a solution together." As negotiations began, Elena couldn't help but marvel at the turn of events. What had started as a fight for survival had become something more. A chance for two species to come together, to heal, and to build a future neither could have imagined alone. The Defiance Protocol, designed to save humanity from extinction, had instead opened the door to a new era of interstellar cooperation. As Earth's ships and the Zarkan fleet moved into peaceful formation, Elena Reeves knew that the greatest challenges and the greatest opportunities still lay ahead. The stars seemed to shine brighter, witnesses to a moment that would change the course of galactic history forever. The final stand. The following months saw an unprecedented era of cooperation between humanity and the Zarkan. As Earth scientists worked tirelessly to repair the damaged hive mind, the true extent of the Zarkan's journey became clear. They had traveled across galaxies, fleeing a cosmic horror beyond imagination, a force they called the Void Eaters. Admiral Elena Reeves stood on the observation deck of the newly christened Hope Station, a massive orbital facility that served as the headquarters for the Human-Zarkan Alliance. Beside her, Supreme Commander Zarkal's towering form seemed less alien now, almost familiar. The Void Eater's approach, Zarkal's resonant voice carried a note of dread. "Our long flight has only delayed the inevitable." Elena's jaw set with determination. "We've faced impossible odds before, Commander. We'll face these together." As if on cue, alarms blared throughout the station. On the main view screen, a tear in the fabric of space-time ripped open at the edge of the solar system. Through this cosmic wound poured creatures of nightmare, living shadows that devoured light and matter alike. All ships, battle stations. Elena's voice rang out across the Allied fleet. Human and Zarkan vessels, once enemies, now moved in perfect synchronization. Initiate Operation Luminous Shield. The plan was audacious, born from the melding of human ingenuity and Zarkan technology. As the Void Eaters surged forward, the combined fleet took up positions around the sun. Massive energy collectors, hurriedly constructed over the past months, began to hum with power. "Energy levels at 60% and rising," reported Dr. Tanaka from her station. "We'll only get one shot at this." The Void Eaters, sensing the trap, accelerated their assault. The outer planets fell quickly, reduced to lifeless husks in a matter of hours. Jupiter's great red spot winked out of existence as a Void Eater latched onto the gas giant, draining it of energy. 75%, Dr. Tanaka called out, her voice tense. "But they're adapting faster than we anticipated." The simulations didn't account for this level of intelligence. Elena gritted her teeth. They needed more time. "All ships, engage the enemy. Buy us the time we need." What followed was a battle unlike any the universe had ever seen. Human fighters darted between the lumbering Void Eaters, their weapons enhanced by Zarkan technology to actually harm the cosmic horrors. Zarkan cruisers unleashed barrages of quantum-tipped missiles, creating localized rifts that temporarily banished portions of the Void Eaters back to their dark dimension. But it wasn't enough. For every Void Eater they managed to push back, two more took its place. The Allied fleet was being decimated. 90%, Dr. Tanaka's voice was barely a whisper now. "But at this rate, they'll reach Earth before we're ready." Elena's mind raced. They were so close, but it wouldn't matter if Earth fell before they could activate the luminous shield. Then, an idea struck her, crazy, possibly suicidal, but it might just work. "Zarkal," she turned to the alien commander, "your hive mind. Can it extend to the entire fleet?" The Zarkan's multiple eyes blinked in rapid succession. "Yes, but the strain would be immense. It might destroy us. But it would buy us the time we need." Elena pressed. "One mind, one purpose. moving with perfect coordination. Zarkel was silent for a long moment, then nodded. For our new allies, for the future we glimpsed. We will do it. What happened next was a sight that would be remembered for generations to come. The entire Allied fleet moved as one, executing maneuvers with impossible precision. Ships sacrificed themselves without hesitation, each loss calculated to inflict maximum damage on the Void Eaters. 95%, 96%, 97%. Dr. Tanaka's count became a mantra, a lifeline of hope as the battle raged. The Void Eaters, for the first time in their ancient existence, seemed to hesitate. This unity, this sacrifice, was something they had never encountered before. 99%. Dr. Tanaka's voice cracked. We're almost there. But the victory was on a knife's edge. The Void Eaters, sensing the threat, gathered their full might for one final push. The combined mass of their dark forms blotted out the stars, a wave of oblivion racing towards Earth. 100%. Dr. Tanaka shouted. We're ready. Alina's hand hovered over the activation switch. In that moment, time seemed to stand still. She thought of Earth, of humanity's long journey from cavemen to starfarers. She thought of the Zarkan, and the second chance they had found together. For Earth, for the Zarkan, for life itself, Alina whispered, and threw the switch. The sun erupted in a blaze of glory. The energy collectors channeled its power, amplifying it 1,000-fold. A wave of pure light, more radiant than 1,000,000 suns, washed over the solar system. Where it touched the Void Eaters, they simply ceased to be, vanished back to the dark dimension from whence they came. For a moment, the entire solar system was bathed in blinding radiance. When it faded, the Void Eaters were gone. But so too was much of the Allied fleet, sacrificed in those final moments to ensure the plan's success. In the aftermath, as the survivors regrouped and took stock of their losses, Alina stood once more on the observation deck. Earth shone blue and green below, battered but unbroken. Beside her, Zarkel's form flickered, the strain of linking the entire fleet having taken its toll. We did it, Alina breathed, scarcely able to believe it herself. Yes, Zarkel's voice was weak, but filled with wonder. But at such cost. Was it worth it? Alina looked out at the stars, at the vastness of space that had so nearly been their doom, and was now, once again, a frontier of possibility. Look there. She pointed to where ships from a dozen newly contacted alien races were arriving, drawn by the battle and its aftermath. We've not just saved ourselves, we've opened the door to a new age. An age of unity, of exploration, of hope. As human and Zarkan worked side by side to rebuild, as new alliances were forged and old wounds healed, Alina realized that the Defiance Protocol had evolved into something far greater than anyone could have imagined. It had become a beacon, a call to all sentient life that they were not alone in the cosmic night. The battle was over, but the true adventure was just beginning. Humanity and their new allies looked to the stars not with fear, but with anticipation. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united in the spirit of defiance that had carried them through their darkest hour. As the first joint human-Zarkan exploration vessel prepared to launch, bound for the unknown reaches of the galaxy, Admiral Alina Reeves smiled. The universe, vast and mysterious, awaited. And this time, they were ready.